And the message that I will get to these people that are abusing women and girls in the developing world is, we're going to get you.
In an exclusive interview today with Gript Media, we're joined by Professor Andrew MacLeod, who describes how he intends to use new technology to catch the thousands of alleged rapists within the UN who cause such trauma and harm to women across the third world.
In this mechanism, we're taking a unique and novel opportunity of this. Children who have been born of a sexual abuse are a walking, talking, living bundle of DNA. And there is a new technology developed called genetic genealogy, where you can now take DNA from a crime scene, put it through publicly available databases and track the fathers. We have recognised the children born of these abuses, and that's a small subset of victims, girls between the age of puberty and 16 for criminal law, or above the age of puberty, including adults, for civil law. And we are taking, with permission, the DNA of the children, putting it through these publicly available databases and tracking the fathers. We are running our first test case at the moment through the British courts. Can't tell you the names of the victims, but I can tell you this. We've identified a father, and here's the really interesting thing. Under English law, if you are a child of a British national, you are a British national by right of birth. So we are asserting the rights on behalf of two girls in a country I can't mention right now for their British passports that they are entitled to because their father was British.
Andrew, you arrived at figures of 60,000 rapes in a 10-year period and over 3,000 paedophiles. How exactly did you arrive at those figures? Because I know that caused a lot of consternation in the UN.
It did. I need to clarify for a moment. We said 60,000 incidences of sexual exploitation, abuse and rape, so not just rape. And we did so by taking the UN's own figures and extrapolating them out using the underreported rates of sexual exploitation and abuse in the United Kingdom. Only 1 in 7 rapes is reported in the UK. The UN admit to 300 rapes and examples of sexual exploitation and abuse every year at the hands of peacekeeping alone. The Secretary General admitted the problem is bigger outside of peacekeeping. So if you've got 300 in peacekeeping and at least 300 outside of peacekeeping, that's 600 a year. 1 in 7 rapes is reported in the UK. There'll be less than that in the developing world, far fewer in fact, but we assume only 1 in 10, which is a very, very conservative estimate. So if you've got 600 known victims and 1 in 10 report, those 600 known victims represent 6,000 actual victims every single year. Now, every step of our assumptions have been conservative, and people have criticised us to say we're exaggerating the problem. Well, there's been a Swedish government-funded report that shows 59,000 victims of sexual exploitation and abuse over the last 9 years, just looking at women between the ages of 18 and 35, and this is the kicker, just in Monrovia, let alone the rest of Liberia. So if my figures are wrong, it's not because I'm exaggerating the problem, it's because I'm radically underestimating the problem.
And when you brought forward these figures, what was the response among senior staff in the UN?
They were all trying to deny it, and they said that my numbers were wrong, to which my response was, fine, if you say my numbers are wrong, give me a better number. And that was met with silence. Even when I was on CNN worldwide talking about that number, and CNN asked for the UN's response, and they said, oh, we've got zero tolerance, we don't accept sexual exploitation and abuse. And Hologarani said, but you're not saying anything about the 60,000 number. And of course they're not saying anything about the 60,000 number because they know the 60,000 number is an underestimate. In the United Kingdom, Section 72 of the Sexual Offences Act makes it unlawful to have sex with a child under the age of 16 anywhere in the world. Now, how many aid workers have been prosecuted under that piece of legislation? 0. 0 is the most powerful statistic you see in the world. While that statistic is still 0, you can see the agencies are not taking it seriously. And to underline that even further, the UN agencies and NGOs are running around and saying, how do we improve our internal investigation processes? And I'm like, you don't need to. There is a perfectly good investigation agency to report to. It's called the police. So let's focus on putting the perpetrators in jail. Let's get rid of Article 18 and Article 19 of the UN Convention on Privileges and Immunities, behind which sexual abusers hide, claiming UN diplomatic immunity, and let's demand open reports from UN agencies and large NGOs about how they're reporting staff to local police and police in the home country of the perpetrator. And any agency, UN or NGO, that says we have no perpetrators and we haven't reported anyone to the police is either lying through their teeth, or they're completely complicit, or they've got their heads so deeply buried in the sand they can see Australia from Ireland. It's going to get much bigger. Once we've finished the test cases, we're going to have a whole system. And the message that I will get to these people that are abusing women and girls in the developing world is, we're going to get you. And it might not be this year, it might not be next year, it might be on your 87th birthday that we come knocking on your door, but we will get you.